Hey guys, welcome back to Allison Unfiltered. I want to talk more today about the 19 hard things I do to be successful. I think it's really been interesting to kind of dig into this and I don't know, maybe figure out a little more about myself and maybe you can figure out a little bit more about yourself, all the good things, right? But I want to talk a little bit about some current events and some things that are happening and just, you know, life itself, right? Uh, I had one of the best weekends ever because you all know who Toothless is. If you don't, you should check out my Facebook. He's our bearded dragon. Actually, he's Gage's bearded dragon. But I got to babysit this weekend, and he was the best little bearded dragon ever. Um, Very well behaved. He didn't poop in the house. It was all good. But anyway, it was nice to be able to have a couple of days with him and love on him a little bit because I sure miss him a lot. Not as much as I miss Gage being here, but I miss Toothless a whole lot. I miss being able to just walk upstairs and go get him. But I have had a little bit of fun with the guest room, like decorating it and getting it ready for a guest room and things like that. So that's been kind of nice. It's coming along quite nice. Uh, I will say I did not put eye makeup on today because y'all, it is the middle of pollen season in East Texas, and there is no reason to put eye makeup on because I will just rub it off. Itchy eyes, everything. Like allergy season is upon us, and it is brutal right now. Um, okay, so I have this yellow sticky note, right? Our bar top outside on the back patio, like Mau Mau's footprints are going through it, and it is literally this color on the bar top. It's so thick. Like, I'll get out there at some point this week and spray it down, and then it'll be covered again, and I'll let it go until I can't stand it anymore. And then, Danny's like, "Why don't you just leave it until it's done?" And I was like, "Because I can't stand the dirtiness." Gage came over this morning and we got the last little bit of all his stuff from his greenhouse and all the things that he had. We got all that cleaned up outside. So it's really weird. And we were walking back there to get the last couple of things. And I was like, oh gosh, it's so sad back here. Like, you're not back here and all your stuff isn't back here and all the things. Um, but it's definitely cleaner and not near as messy. Love you if you're watching, baby. But I know you don't watch this, so. Um, so we got to spend some time with Toothless. Oh, another really cool thing. We think we saw Harold. And if you don't remember who Harold is, he is the little robin redbreast that we saved. He fell out of a tree when he was a baby, and we nursed him back to health and hand fed him like every 3 hours. It was crazy. And he was the sweetest little bird ever, and we let him go. And this one came back and was sitting on the fence, and I was sitting on the chair, and Danny was in the hot tub, and he's like, "I think that's Harold." And I was like, "Where?" And I looked, and he was sitting on the fence like he used to, and he was all puffed up and stuff, and like pruning his feathers, or preening his feathers, not pruning, preening his feathers. And I started talking to him, and he puffed up a little more, and he stuck around for, I mean, 3 or 4 minutes for a bird to stay in one place is a hot minute. So um, hopefully that was Harold. I feel a yawn coming on. I hope Danny edits that out. I don't know what's wrong. All right, so Toothless came. I think we saw Harold. We are, oh my gosh, we're like 2.5, 3 weeks away from getting the pool uncovered. Holy manoli, holy but Jesus, holy everything. Sweet baby Jesus, I'm so ready to see that water. And Danny kind of got a picture of it the other day, and because we have a pool cover, we have one of those like safety lock nets on our pool, and so the leaves can't get in. And we've been worried about how bad the dirt was with the construction in the neighborhood, and he said it doesn't really seem that bad. So cross your fingers, say a little prayer that it all looks good. I know, first world problems, right? Um, One of the things that happened is we had a really pretty good month last month with our new GLPX coming out, and I wanted to reward myself with something, so I did. I'm a Michael Kors fanatic. I love their stuff, but I can't stand any of his stuff that has gold on it. So just so you know, I like everything with silver. Um, so I saw this purse, and it's one that I've been looking at for like 2 years, right? I've been dying to see this, to get this purse, and I love it. And I knew that Danny was going to think it was hideous, but this was normally like, and I'm all about a good deal, so I'm not going to spend full price on a, what's the word I'm looking for? On a designer anything, right? If I get a good deal on it, I'm excited with that. If it's last year's, I don't care, right? I'm going to wear it anyway or use it anyway. So this was normally a $678 purse, and it was on sale for 78% off through their outlet. So I got it for like $149, and I think that's a freaking steal. Okay, that's a steal. And Danny's like, so basically, it only cost them $30 to make the whole thing, and they still made a profit on it. I'm like, gosh, no, maybe, I don't know, but even still. Um, it's a really cute purse. It's white, and it's got all kinds of colors on it, like neon colors, like neon pink, neon yellow, neon orange. And then it's got some iridescent. It's got some neon purple. It's really cool. He calls it a Punky Brewster purse. So I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with that. I love Punky Brewster. I think it'll look really cute with like a t-shirt and some jeggings and my white Hey Dudes and a white purse. It'd be super cute. So I'm excited about it. And I'm okay with anything that looks 1980s because I am from the 80s. Like that's when I grew up, so I love that style anyway. All the wrists and all the Madonna and all the things and all the bracelets. Well, I still wear a lot of bracelets and stuff too. I actually didn't put any on today. Interesting. So yeah, so that was my gift to myself for working so hard and making some good money last month. And it felt good to be able to do something for myself, you know? And that's part of why I talk about all this stuff, the 19 hard things I do to be successful, because being successful allows me to do some things for myself, right? Um, Another thing that I saw that I think is funny, and I want to share it with y'all because it made me laugh. Well, two things, right? Well, I can't remember the wording on the first one, and I can't look it up on my phone because I'm recording on my phone. So I'll do that one next week. Um, but there was this meme, and there's this little old lady, and she's got her hair fixed and her makeup done, right? And she's got a fur, like a leopard fur coat on, and she's hanging out by this old car. And it says, when a cougar gets so old, she needs a hearing aid. She becomes a def leopard. She's sitting there in her leopard, oh my gosh, her leopard fur coat. It was the best, right? So I sent it to Gage, and he said his response was no ma'am, with the laughing faces. It's awesome. I love the relationship that him and I have, because he totally gets me, and I for the most part get him really well too. um but it's always fun to have somebody to laugh with. But yeah, so when a cougar gets so old she needs a hearing aid, she becomes a deaf leopard. That's the best. I want to be a deaf leopard. I don't really want hearing aids, but I want to be a deaf leopard. I think that would be fun. All right, so enough of the fun stuff. Um, I've had some things happen over the last week or so, and I just want to touch on something, and maybe I'll just touch on it a little bit later once we get into this. So here's the deal. 19 hard things I do to be successful. I'm going to go through. We're on number 7. But 1, I make the call I'm afraid to make. I get up earlier than I want to get up. I give more than I get in return right away. I care more about others than they care about me. I fight when I'm already injured, bloody, and sore. I feel unsure and insecure when playing it safe seems smarter. And then number 7, what we're on today, is I lead when no one else is following me yet. And I will tell you, I have some incredible people on my team that do that already. They are excellent leaders. They have, team chats set up for people that were on their team, and maybe those people aren't there anymore, but those people are consistently putting things in that team chat because they know one day all of those things will be very much valued. And it makes me so very proud. And I never, ever, ever talk about names on here, and I'm not going to start it now. But if you're listening, you know who you are. I am super proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. And I think it's important, right? Because here's the thing, we lead by example. And, I see things like I saw something on Facebook today. She's an influencer, and she disappeared for a while, and she was like, "Hey peeps, I'm back." And I thought, how do you do that? Like, how do you just disappear? I could tell you that I have been consistent on my Facebook for 8 years straight, every day posting, multiple times a day. Like, I show up. I don't know how not to. And I'm not scared to share my life, right? Because I mean, what, the boogeyman's going to come get me on Facebook? I'm not going to worry about that. I had a lady tell me that she doesn't take pictures on her phone, and she doesn't take personal pictures on her phone because she doesn't want them to be stolen. And I'm like, they already have all your info. If you have a phone, they already know it all, right? And they're listening. And they probably already have pictures of you anyway. you know? I don't get that mentality, but to each their own. But I lead when no one else is following me yet. You have to set the example, and you have to be the leader so that when you do bring people on with you, then you can say, look, this is what I've done, right? And this is what I want you to do. And if you set that example, like, there is nothing in the world that I would ever ask my team to do that I haven't done myself or I'm not willing to do. Ever, never in a million years. Okay. I know some people are afraid. I know some people don't like the sound of their own voice. I know some people freeze when they get in front of a camera. I know that people are afraid to mess up, and so they won't go live on their Facebook. But if you don't do it, the people that are following you, number one, aren't going to see it. And I think one of the best things in the world is when I do screw up, right? When I do mess up, it just makes me look even more human, right? I had a girl on my team that she was deathly afraid to not portray her best. And it made me so sad for her because she's a human being, right? She's a mom, she's a wife, and she's a human, and we're not perfect. And you can't portray that perfectionism because you just can't. I posted last week, y'all know about my oldest son, and I've posted last week about that. And someone sent me actually 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 she didn't send me a message. We talked on the phone. And I will tell you, and I know you're listening, but I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. Um, that was one of the biggest compliments in the whole world, was for her to say, I read your post, and it makes you look so real. Like, you seem so real and so down to earth. And she's like, I want to get to know you. Like, I watch all your podcasts. Like, I'm sitting and crying listening to you while you're crying. And here's the thing. If you're the only person that I have reached, that I have helped, that I have, I don't know, made you fall in love with me, or I mean whatever it is, right? If you're the only one, then mission accomplished. I have done everything that I set out to do, which is help at least change one person's life. And this girl's gonna join my team, and I'm so excited, and she's gonna kill all of this. So say some prayers for my new girl for sure. God knows who you're praying for anyway, without a name. Uh, but it made my day. It made my day to know that someone's watching, someone's paying attention, someone's listening, someone's feeling what I'm feeling, right? And I'm hitting chords that people can relate to. That was the best compliment ever. So thank you for that compliment. Thank you for those of you that are listening and are crying with me. Um, and that's the thing. Like no one else on my team does a podcast. That's okay. What if they do? What if one day someone decides to do something like that because they saw me do it? I'm always setting the example on my team because I lead when no one else is following me yet. Listen, not all of us are born leaders. I get that. Some of us are followers. I'm not. I am a leader. I was born to be a leader. I was born to do this. And can I tell you something? Do you know how many people I know that are followers that I've turned into leaders? And the only reason they're followers is because they didn't believe in themselves. 110,000%. They did not believe in themselves enough to be a leader. And that's the beautiful thing about this is when we set the example as leaders, other people want that. They want that to be a part of their life. And how do you go about life just being a follower? That I don't know. I guess some people are just meant to be. No, I think that's bullshit. I think that's a cop out. I think everybody's capable of being a leader. I just think that sometimes people don't want to put into things what is required of them to get there. Do you know what I'm saying? And I used to be that person. I never thought of myself as a I mean, I knew I wasn't like I mean, I knew I was an outlaw. I knew I broke the laws. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't follow all the rules and all the things. I was talking to my neighbors about that the other night about how much all the things that I did for attention when I was younger. It was just insane. Um, insane. And so I was always a leader and not necessarily a follower, but I never believed I was a leader like I can be now and like I am now, right? And so I never in a million years thought I would ever do a podcast either. So thank you to Gabe Spencer for putting that idea in my head and for leading me into this direction for sure. He's a pretty awesome dude. So shout out to him. Accurate Roofing. If you ever need any roofing stuff, I'll just do that because I love him to pieces. But anyway, I lead when no one else is following me yet. I think the yet part is interesting because there's always someone following you. Even if you only have like, I don't know, 15 friends on Facebook, somebody's following you. Somebody's watching what you're doing, right? People are always watching. I mean, think about this. Think about the number of reels you watch in a day that you don't like or comment on or anything. Think about those. Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, God, I don't have that many likes or comments or anything on my reels. And, I try not to let that stuff get to me. But it does sometimes. And then I had to remind myself when I don't let myself do it very often. I was actually scrolling through some reels, just winding down. And I was like, I wonder how many reels I've actually watched that I didn't like or I didn't comment on. So the thing is, just because people aren't commenting on it or liking it doesn't mean they're not seeing it, right? So one of my reels the other day got like 500 views. There weren't any comments, there weren't any likes. It was just views. So that tells me that 500 people saw my stuff, but nobody said anything. And that's okay because I'm still getting it out there, right? People are still hearing it. And I think, this is kind of off the beaten path too, but maybe it'll kind of go into what else I want to talk about. There's some mean people out there. Like, there are some, what do they call them? Keyboard bandits, keyboard something. Like, there are some mean people out there. This girl posted something cute about her dog, and some girl comes on there talking about how ugly her carpet is. And I'm like, who are you? What made you decide? Because it's a decision, 100%. What made you decide to be such an asshole to someone that you don't even know, that was just showing like a cute video of her dog? What made you decide to be that person? We don't have any respect anymore, right? And that's huge. Like, you know, and I'm talking about respect as in how we speak to each other. If you borrow something from someone, give it back without them asking for it. That is my biggest pet peeve. Have enough respect to tell me the truth, right? Have enough respect that if you borrow my shit, you bring it back without me asking. Have enough respect that, you know, you don't call me late at night and you don't call super early in the morning, unless we have it planned, unless there's an emergency, right? I mean, it's just where is the line of respect? And where did we decide that we're going to cross it? That it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is our feelings and our time and our schedule, right? Everybody has stuff going on in their life. So you got to have respect. And I think because so many people can hide behind the computer and the keyboard, it gives them permission to be anonymous and to be mean to other people. And y'all, that is not how Jesus wants us to live. He did not climb that mountain and make those sacrifices for us to still be ugly to each other. Like, I dread it. And listen, I've had my fair share of ugliness to people, and I try to be a better person every day when I wake up. I really do. And sometimes it gets the better of me. We were talking to the kids in the jail the other night, and do you know that I know two people that are charged with capital murder? That blows my mind. Kids, right? And one of the things we were talking about was Psalm 25, and it talks about gossip and lying and things like that. And we were talking about, self control. And I asked him, I was like, how many of you would not be in here if you had better control of yourself? Every single one of them raised their hand. And I was like, I know you guys know how to be kind and nice. And I'm like, do you know how I know that? And they're like, how do you know that, miss? And I'm like, because you're sitting right here in front of me and you're saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and thank you, and yes, please, and no, thank you. And you're polite. You know how to act when you're getting what you want, right? So we're serving you good food. You're going to act right because if you don't, you're not going to get it. So you can control yourself. It's a matter of, do you want to? Do you have the skills to? Do you have the tools to be able to control? So we talked about practicing the pause. And I think that's a really important one, just like closing your eyes, or maybe you need to keep your eye on the ball, right? But just count to 10 in your mind. Just count to 10, maybe 20 if you need to. and don't react. Gosh, that's a hard thing to do. Even as an adult, it's hard to not react to people, right? But it's even more concerning, and this falls into that. I lead when no one else is following me yet. These kids are leading people. They're leading people, and they think they're in these badass gangs. It's Tyler, Texas. You aren't in a gang. You don't even know what a gang is. And if you saw a real gangbanger from a prison, you would TT in your pants because you would be so scared of that person. Like you think you're all badass and stuff, and you're not. You're just a scared little kid without any direction. They're just little kids. These kids are 9 to 17 years old, and the group that I talked to were 14, 15, and 16. They're just kids. I mean, I know I thought I was grown then too, but damn, you're not grown. So do me a favor and pray for those kids for sure, because they need that. And listen, I posted something the other day, and I'm going to kind of synopsize it. But like, when I say I'm a Christian, that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I am messed up. I am jacked up. I do not do the right things all the time, but I damn sure try every day, and I damn sure have a relationship with my God and all the things. And I have a potty mouth. Oh my gosh, I do. I know I do. But I think my personality has given me the opportunity to connect with these kids. So they're not following me yet, but I'm still leading them. You know, people on my team, people that haven't come along yet on my team, people that don't even know they're going to be a part of my team one day. I lead when no one else is following me yet because they may not be following, but they're watching. People are always watching you. Y'all, your kids are always watching you. Your kids, your family, your friends, like, and some of them do it out of judgment, right? Some of them watch so they can, oh, she did this, and they can talk about you. Why does it matter what other people say about you so much? Why does it matter what you think, what other people think? Why isn't the only person that matters God? Because if we really truly thought about that, like if we really truly were in a position these days, I guess we are still. It's a choice, right? It's still a choice. But if you really believed that the only person that mattered what they thought about you was God, we'd probably be in a very different world, right? And so that's another thing that we talk to the kids about is it doesn't matter what your friends think. It doesn't matter what they think or what they believe or whatever. What matters is what God thinks about you and your choices and what you're doing. I guess I say I wish I would have had somebody talk to me about stuff like this. And I did. I had a counselor in high school and she was really awesome. But it was not necessarily Christian based. And I don't know if I would have heard it back then or not. My faith didn't become real strong until I was in my 30s, believe it or not. Um, so once again, I lead when no one else is following me yet. So are you a leader? Are you leading people? Are you setting the example? Are you being positive? Are you setting a positive light? Or are you the one like spreading the drama? Right? That's what you got to think about. Like, is what I'm putting out there, is it good? Is it healing to me? Right? Because it does matter that it's about you. I know people are concerned that, about I've told stories on here that involve other people. And those are stories from my perspective, right? It's not to ever hurt anyone. And that's why I don't say names or anything like that. I just don't. Not unless I'm like shouting out your business or something. Not your business, but like your actual work business. But I don't say names because there's so many people that watch this that don't know a lot of the same people that I know. But at the same time, this has been one of the most cathartic things I've ever done for myself. It's just kind of like working through my past and my childhood and my struggles in life and talking it out as an adult. It's been so super healing. And I get the phone calls sometimes of, "Hey, I watched your podcast and I just want to say thank you for putting that out there." And I feel the same way, and I really appreciate what you're saying and all the things. Y'all, I'm not uh, I don't know who this will inspire one day, but I am leading when no one else is following me yet. And I just feel like it's something that I'm called to do. So, I'm going to keep doing it. And we all have choices, right? You can watch this or not watch this or all the things. But I hope you're watching it. And I hope if you love it, you share it. Please share it with your family and friends. Share it on your Facebook. Share my reels. If it moves you, share it, because that's how our testimony and that's how our story gets out. And that's how we change more lives. Okay. So thanks again. Love you guys. See you next week with some more 19 hard things to do to be successful and some more current events. Peace out, homies. Bye.